I walked into the living room to hear a sound that made my stomach turn. My friend's 6-year-old son, Tyler, was standing in front of my $5,000 Audiophile speakers, methodically pushing his thumb through the delicate tweeter domes, crushing them one by one like bubble wrap. I froze. My brain couldn't compute the violence happening right in front of me. These weren't just speakers. They were Bowers and Wilkins 804D3S. I had saved for 3 years to buy them. They were my sanctuary. The top-mounted diamond tweeters, fragile, vapor-deposited domes that cost $1,000 each to replace, were already decimated. Tyler had pushed them in so hard they had cracked. Now, he was working on the mid-range drivers. Thwump. He punched the silver continuum cone. The material crinkled. The suspension snapped. Tyler! I screamed, dropping the tray of snacks I was holding. Tyler jumped. He looked at me, his finger still resting on the ruined woofer. He grinned. "They make a funny noise," he said. "Look, they bounce." He poked the woofer again. "Crinkle. Get away from them." I lunged forward, grabbing his shoulder and pulling him back. "Oh." Tyler whined. "Dad." He grabbed me. My friend, Mark, jogged in from the patio where he had been smoking a cigar. "Whoa, what's going on? Why are you manhandling my kid?" "Manhandling?" I pointed at the speakers. "Mark, look at this." He destroyed them. He poked out every single driver. Mark walked over. He looked at the caved-in domes. He looked at the crinkled cones. "Oh," he said, taking a sip of his beer. "Yeah, kids do that. They like buttons." "Sorry, ma'am." "Do they still work?" "Do they work?" I felt the blood pounding in my ears. "Mark, the tweeters are shattered diamond. The woofers are bent. The voice coils are probably rubbing. These are totaled. This is $5,000 of damage." Mark laughed. "5,000? Come on, OP. They are speakers. I have a Bose soundbar that cost $300 and it sounds fine. You probably overpaid. Just pull them out with some tape or a vacuum cleaner. It's an easy fix." "You can't vacuum out a shattered diamond dome." I shouted. "These are precision instruments. And your son just treated them like a fidget spinner." "Don't yell at him," Mark snapped, his demeanor shifting from casual to defensive. "He didn't know. He's 6. You shouldn't have such fragile stuff out in the open if you invite people over. Honestly, it's a safety hazard. What if he cut his finger?" "He destroyed my property." I yelled. "It's just a stereo." Mark rolled his eyes. "Stop being a baby. We'll leave if you're going to be toxic. Come on, Tyler. Let's go. Uncle OP is having a tantrum over his toys." He grabbed Tyler's hand. I looked at the speakers. They looked like they had been in a war zone. The beautiful, sleek design was marred by the ugly, jagged craters where the sound used to come from. "You aren't leaving," I said. "Not until we talk about payment." Mark stopped at the door. He turned back, a smirk on his face. "Payment? For poking a speaker? Get real. Send me a bill for the tape you used to fix it. I might pay that." He walked out. I stood in the silence of my ruined listening room. He thought it was a joke. He thought tape would fix it. I pulled out my phone. I wasn't going to buy tape. I was going to call the authorized dealer for a repair quote. And then, I was going to call a lawyer. I grabbed Tyler's hand before he could poke the second woofer. His finger was an inch away from the cone. "Stop!" I yelled. Tyler wailed, twisting out of my grip. "Mommy!" He pinched me. Mark's wife, Jessica, stormed into the room. She saw Tyler crying. She saw me standing guard over the speakers like a sentinel. "What is wrong with you?" she snapped, checking Tyler's wrist for imaginary bruises. "Why are you always screaming at him?" "He destroyed my speakers," I said, my voice trembling with adrenaline. "Look at them, Jessica. Look at the drivers." Jessica glanced at the caved-in cones. She shrugged. "Oh, that." She laughed, a dismissive, airy sound. "He thought they were buttons. He's just a curious little boy. Don't be so mad. Just use a vacuum cleaner." "A vacuum cleaner?" "Ich zerrte her." "Yeah," she said, mimicking a suction motion. Or a piece of tape. You stick it on, pull it out, and pop. Good as new. I saw it on TikTok. It fixes dents in cars. It'll fix your little music box. This isn't a car bumper, I said, trying to keep my voice level. This is a diamond tweeter. It didn't dent, Jessica. It shattered. The material is vaporized. And the mid-range cone is Kevlar composite. Once it creases, the structural integrity is gone. It will distort. It's ruined. You are so dramatic, she rolled her eyes. It's just cosmetic. Who cares if it has a little dimple? It still makes noise, right? It's not about noise. I shouted. It's about fidelity. The voice coil is rubbing. Listen. I turned on the amp. I played a piano track. BZZZT crackle. Thump. The distortion was horrific. The shattered tweeter hissed like a snake. The woofer rattled against the magnet. See? I pointed. It sounds like a broken radio. It sounds fine to me, Jessica lied, crossing her arms. You're just being picky because you want new ones. You audio people are all the same. You spend thousands on cables and then cry about a little static. It's not static. I yelled. It's broken hardware. This system cost me $5,000, and you are going to pay to replace the drivers. I am not paying $5,000 because my son pushed a button, she shrieked. That is extortion. If you buy things that break when a 6-year-old touches them, that's your fault for buying cheap junk. A real speaker should be durable. These are reference monitors. I argued. They aren't jungle gyms. Well, fix it with the vacuum, she said, grabbing Tyler's hand. We are done here. Come on, Mark. OP is having a meltdown over his toys. Mark smirked at me from the hallway. Told you, bro tape. They walked to the door. If you leave, I said, I'm filing a lawsuit. Go ahead, Jessica laughed, opening the door. Tell the judge you're mad about a dent. See how far that gets you. You're pathetic. She slammed the door. I stood in the room, listening to the buzzing of the broken speakers. The piano track played on, distorted and ugly. She thought the vacuum would fix it. She thought I was being picky. I turned off the amp. The silence was heavy. I wasn't going to get the vacuum. I was going to get the invoice from the dealer. And then, I was going to get a lawyer who knew the difference between noise and music. I didn't sleep that night. I spent the time taking macro photos of the shattered tweeters. The next morning, I called the Bowers and Wilkins Authorized Service Center. The technician, Dave, sounded pained just listening to my description. Pushed in? He asked. Crushed, I corrected. Diamond shards. Yeah, that's a full replacement, Dave said. And here's the thing, B&W drivers are matched pairs. If you replace one, the imaging will be off. You really need to replace both tweeter assemblies and likely the mid-range drivers if the suspension is warped. He sent me the quote. Diamond tweeter assembly, X2 $2,400. Continuum FST mid-range driver, X2 $1,800. Labor and calibration, $800. Shipping, freight $400. Total repair cost, $5,400. It was actually cheaper to repair than replace the whole towers, but barely. The invoice. I emailed the quote to Mark and Jessica. Subject, invoice for damages. Attached is the official repair estimate. Please remit $5,400 within 30 days. Mark replied with a text. Mark, LOL. Good luck with that. I looked on Amazon. Speakers are $100. Stop trying to scam your friends. The court case. Issued. Small claims limit in my state is $10,000. Jessica and Mark showed up without a lawyer. Jessica brought a roll of duct tape and a handheld vacuum cleaner. Your Honor, she told the judge, this man is insane. He wants $5,000 for a dent. I brought this vacuum to show you I can fix it right here. I walked up to the bench. I handed the judge the macro photos of the shattered diamond. I handed him the quote from B&W. I handed him a printout explaining the physics of vapor-deposited diamond. The judge said, looking at the vacuum. You cannot vacuum shattered diamond. This is a high-fidelity instrument. It's like smashing a Steinway piano and offering to fix it with super glue. But it's just speakers. Mark argued. They beep and BOP. They are property, the judge said, and you are liable. The verdict: judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,400 plus court costs. Jessica screamed, "We don't have that. We have a trip to Disney planned." Then you should have watched your son, the judge said. The aftermath: they refused to pay. I garnished Mark's wages. They lost their Disney trip. They lost their friendship with me. Good riddance. I got my speakers fixed. They sound incredible. And now, whenever anyone comes over, the grills stay on. And if a kid walks in, the door gets locked. Because silence is golden, but diamond tweeters are expensive.